Hello, everybody. This is Tara. I am coming back to you today. Happy Memorial Day. I want to say thank you to every service member that fought for our freedom. And I had Grandpa I never met before, Russell Copeland. He passed away in World War II. And so this is for you, Russell. I never got to meet you, but I know your name, and I know that your sacrifice was huge. You left behind a wife and a daughter, and I wish I had met you. Okay. So I want to say I don't have anything really put together for this, but I didn't want to forget and do that because I think that's just weird. Um, anyway, how are you all today? I hope you're enjoying time with your family. I hope that maybe you're at a barbecue and I hope that you're having time to remember and to appreciate and embrace your life right now. And I know there's a lot of you out there that probably aren't. There's a lot of you out there that are feeling whatever. I could say, I'm hoping I'm loud enough. Maybe I'll bring you over this way. I gotta charge this thing. I do, because one of these days it's gonna stop working. Um. So today. So let me talk about this. And this, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna put this in the title, so it might be even why you showed up. First of all, I'm Tara. I'm a 54-year-old woman. I'm vlogging and discussing my way of eating as I reach for a really healthy second half of my life. Okay? I guess that's my introduction right now. So last night, it was pretty early. Like, I am looking for something to watch. I watch a lot of podcasts. Sometimes I watch the silly stuff, and sometimes it's like, whatever, and I'll read. Um, and right now, the book I'm reading is the Bible. I'm keeping my head in that for now, and I do like skim over some books about philosophy with the Bible, I guess you'd call it. I don't know. So that's still rare that I go to books at night. But last night I'm scrolling through YouTube. That's where I spend most of my time. I do go to Facebook. I don't Instagram very much at all. I don't TikTok. I don't do that. My X account is in a bubble, and I'll go there once in a while to look for news. And it's actually in a section on my phone called News. Uh, I'll go there once in a while to verify things that I may hear on podcasts or something like that. So last night there was nothing for me to watch, and I was like, ugh. And I was doom scrolling. Yeah, even at 54 years old, doom scrolling's a thing, and I'm just catching like these silly little things, and quite literally, I had to stop and pray and say, I think the world is fake. I think this is all fake. The things I was coming across, I should have wrote down everything that I came across, but then I would have just put too much focus on it. It was like the world is fake. I really, there were things and advertisements that were coming up that made no fucking sense. There was one advertisement that comes to mind where they were trying to talk about how cool WhatsApp is. And the reason why it's so cool is because there's no judgments in that app about what kind of device you're using. I didn't know there was such a thing. Really? There are people in the world that are really concerned about whether or not the person they're messaging with has a Samsung or an Apple? Dude, if you have somebody that's worried about that shit, you need to cut them out of your life. Just cut them out. What? You don't need to go switch to a different messaging app because of that. That WhatsApp doesn't give hints to how which phone you're using. Come on now. I'm feeling like that's fake. There was a lot of things. It was like overwhelming. I'm like, dude. And I had to like go to bed. And I'm like, this is freaky because now I'm gonna go to bed and everything's gonna be weird in my dreams because now like it's almost like I came across several pieces of evidence that all of this is bullshit. Now, I guess we should talk about like my point of view of things, I guess. Maybe this is interesting to you or whatever. But let me put it to you this way. I've always known ever since I was a very young, probably before I could walk, honestly, that shit wasn't right. That this world was not quite there. Something was quite off. And I've kind of always rolled through it. And so I've never been asleep. If you understand what I'm saying, I've never been asleep. I've never been one of those people that didn't see it for what it really was. Now, there are occasions where there are people that were able to get past my radar. Either sometimes it was me ignoring the warning signs, or I literally was taken aside, like, whoa, I did not see that coming. It's happened maybe twice, maybe three times throughout my entire life. Thank God. Um, I am really super hyper aware of what people are actually thinking and feeling. I'm not saying that I'm a mind reader or I'm a super intuitive because obviously I am not. But I can tell what's up. And sometimes that's good, sometimes that's bad. If I was in a sales position, it'd be great. It'd be a great aspect to have. Being able to really read that kind of stuff is really good in certain fields and whatnot. But most people don't live like that. And what I'm realizing is that a lot of people these days don't at all. Like quite literally, the term NPC comes up. Like there's just nothing there, dude. There's nothing there. And I don't know always for a fact that that's true because I can't judge and I can't be a measure of someone else's experiences. Maybe it's just what I think is important in that moment they have no care about. And to me, it just looks like there's nothing behind the eyes or in between the ears. Um, and I know that now that we live in a social media world where a lot of our time is in front of a screen and on a computer and things like that, there's algorithms and it picks up on that stuff and it'll show you things to prove it to you. But that's always been something. That algorithm thing has always been there. Always. Even before we had this. So, yeah, I was disturbed because it was almost as if the algorithm was literally like, like right at me. Like, there's nothing real, And I was like, oh my gosh, this is creepy. I gotta go. And I'm the type of person that will unplug my modem at night for sure. I don't always remember to do it, but I will if I remember. My dog is really sensitive to the Wi-Fi. She knows. And sometimes I wonder, like when she gets all shaky and nervous, I always blame it on the fact that we're up high. It's windy out normally, and you can't see out the windows to see what's really happening. You can see up, but you can't see out. So she knows that there's cars driving by really fast, and she can see their lights going, but she can't look at them and see them going by. So she doesn't know what the fuck is going on half the time. And I notice that when I do unplug the modem, she sleeps better. I sleep better. And so those are things. Okay. But I want to talk about that those things were kind of always there. And life would give you evidence all the time about things you were thinking about constantly. And it's not just on our devices. What's different is that we're only looking at them, or not we are only. We are much more focused on that than we are in the outside world. And the outside world will still give you the same algorithms that your phone will. It will show you stuff. So if you're thinking about that kind of shit, you're not alone, and it's always been there. There's one thing that I used to find very odd when I would think about it, and I just recently realized what it was, and I can't believe it took so long for me to figure that out. When I was younger and I wanted to look something up and I wanted to learn about something, I had no problem finding the answers. And I'm thinking to myself, how could I do that? Like, how was I able to do that? Yes, I understood the Dewey Decimal System. I knew how to look things up in the library, and I used my library. Um, but how did I reach out and find things? I was able to find answers and research on things really quickly, almost as fast as I feel like I can do it now with a high speed computer in my hand. And then I realized, I guess it was about a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, I always had a Britannica in the house. I always had all that shit right in the house. And I used my library. So I could research something in an encyclopedia and then go verify when I went to the library. And when you're actually researching something, it's beyond just looking something up real quick on Google. If you're really researching something, you're digging and you're looking through a lot of different information to find information. Same as in the past before computers were a thing, or before they were available to us. They were a thing. Trust me. Um, and then I think about how I've always been told that the military-industrial complex. This is probably gonna flag the algorithm so bad, but whatever. Always has technologies at least 50 years ahead before they even begin to release it to us. So I learned that back when VHS and beta was available. That was something that came to my awareness that these things have been around. I also know that computers were around because I have been in a major computer room when I was a very young child, about 5, 6 years old, in like a data center, but small, like an office suite floor in a building. Um, all that stuff was there, and nobody was using computers in their house. We still had TVs that we went to the TV service center to fix. Bulbs would get blown, and you'd buy a new bulb and the guy would put it in for you. That stuff was still around. I was born in '71, and so first time I saw a data center, I was about 5 years old, so 76, 77. Okay, and then here we are, 50 years later, and almost every home has a computer in it. Almost everyone has one in their pocket. You may have one in your hand right now looking at this. You may be have me squished down in the small screen, and you might be scrolling and looking at reels while you're watching this. All that shit's going on. 50 years ago, that stuff was not available to us. Um, People talk about AI and it's going to take over. AI is already 50 years ahead of us right now. AI was there then, I'm pretty sure. And so this might get really weird and creepy. I don't know. But there's more to this than what we think. And there's also less to this than what we think. Understand? I hope I'm making sense. It's kind of strange. It's very weird. I didn't know how I was going to approach this or even express it to you. But remembering is something that's really important. And historians are really important. And documentation is really important. And what we're losing a lot of that now is a lot of our documentation is digital. And that could be corrupted at any time. And not by a flood or a fire, just by something coming in and taking it out. So all that stuff is very wild. And so last night I just had this oh my gosh, it's all fake. Oh my gosh. Like Politics right now are absolutely insane. And the things I'm watching people do is like, what? You are so full of shit. Like, I really am excited about. There's a guy out in LA doing this crazy awesome campaign. I did not pay 1 cent of attention to it because I recognized him from watching some reality show when I was little or younger. And I remember him being like a prick. And I remember him being like, just reminded me of people I grew up with. And I grew up in the Hamptons. I went to East Hampton High School. And there were some pricks. And he reminded me of that. What was, and I'm looking at his campaign little really awesome videos and his really awesome commercials. And I'm like, dude, we are watching a movie here. This is crazy sauce. Uh, oh my gosh. Like, wow. It's just wild. So maybe that's uncomfortable for you to think about and look at all the different things, but I encourage that while you are here in this meat suit that we live in, that you get healthy and you learn really what's happening. And I am on the journey to try to figure that out as well. And I just I just wanted to talk about that real quick. I really don't think I have much more to say on that. I do have coffee next to me. So today I was going to go put together some furniture for one of the short-term rentals I take care of, and my daughter got in touch with me last night. She was like, "Oh, I want to bring you AC unit because, like I told you, when it gets hot up here, it's unbearable." I've lived in Florida in the summertime without air conditioning, and it doesn't touch what this upstairs does at all. So it's time because even though right now it's still cold out, tomorrow's going to be 80, and that'll mean it'll be over 100 degrees in here. So I'm like, perfect timing, cool. And she's like, well, when are you going to go do that? I said, why don't you tell me when you're coming and I'll rearrange my day around that. And how about this? How about we just wait until the morning? And when I'm drinking coffee, I'll message you. And we'll message you, chit chat, chit chat. And either I'll go there in the afternoon after you've come, or I'll go in the morning and you'll come in the afternoon. And so this morning I messaged her, nothing. I'm like, okay. And it's rainy and nasty out again. And I'm like, it's supposed to be April, not May. But I don't think anything of it. I'm like, okay, I've got to get my kefirs out of the milk, put the kefir away, and put my grains into more milk and make some more kefir. I open the refrigerator and I'm like, oh no, I don't have. I had 2 quarter half gallons in my fridge, and I opened them and smelled them, and they're not. I'm not putting kefirs in them. That's not it. I'm basically drinking sour milk as it is by drinking kefir. I am not drinking milk that's definitely smells like cheddar cheese. So I got to look up what I can do with that. I don't want to just dump it. And I'm like, oh no, I have no place to put my kefir friends. So I talked to them and I told them it's going to be okay. I'm going to be back. I've got to go to the store. Not the store. I have to go to the farm and pick up some milk to feed you. And I did that. I put the kefirs up, waiting for me to go to the farm. I sat down and did my reading. I had some yogurt for breakfast and a pat of butter. Okay, we're getting on my way eating. I still am not hungry in the morning, and I know I have to put something in my belly first before coffee. At least that's what I believe to be true at this point. So I did a pat of butter and a bunch of yogurt, like 4 tablespoons of yogurt. Made my coffee, sat down, did my reading. I am in Samuel. It's wild. I don't know who read it. I don't even think. Oh no, I did read the. beginning of it. I don't know who wrote it, but it's interesting, really interesting. So I'm like, ooh, it's so interesting. I got to slow myself down. Don't be reading 4 chapters and lose the meaning from one to the next. Like I try to remember what happened and then go on to the next chapter. So that was wild. And then I got up and I was like, all right, sorry, fancy pants, but I'm out. And I figured I would go do that, go to the farm, get milk, take a country road, maybe grab a pack of cigarettes, and maybe a pint of heavy cream. I like to have heavy cream in the house. I love heavy cream in the house. So, especially when I'm eating like this. Even when I was doing a standard American diet, heavy cream was in my house. So, um, I go out there, I get that, I get a gallon of milk. I was super excited. She had a gallon, and I got the last one. And went for my ride. Came home. I got the what do you call it? The heavy cream. Came home and I was like, all right, let me debone my chicken. And I took all the skin off. I put it on a parchment paper, put that in the oven at 350 degrees for a little bit to make chips because I was hungry. And I chopped up I took 4 cloves of garlic because I still have some fresh garlic in there. I don't want to waste it. Chop that up, put a stick of butter in the pan, and cook the garlic until fragrant on a very low heat. Took 4 slices of my side pork, which is bacon, chopped that up, threw it in there, cooked that until it was a little fragrant while I'm pulling apart the meat off the chicken and chopping that up and throwing it into the thing to make like a soup, a chicken soup. It's chilly enough to get away with chicken soup right now. Tomorrow will be another story. So I'm wondering if I'm going to actually turn that into a like a meat casserole, a chicken casserole, and put some eggs in it and let it set up. I don't know yet. Still on the stove. So I get a message from my daughter, probably around noon ish. She's like, hey, and she was like feeling all bad. I'm like, what's the matter? She's like, I beat myself up last night. She drank too much and she got sad, and that turned into like a thing. And as you know, if you've ever drank before, you get sad when you're drinking. It's on. It's such a depressant anyway. And so I was like, dude, I can't cast no stones at you for that. She got sad about Nana, and that I feel like in our life is like we don't talk about it very much. And I think I don't know exactly why. I think I don't know. I don't know. So, but my reaction to it was, okay, so I don't know how she feels. I know she's sad, and that's totally acceptable. Nana, my mom, I call her mom, I'm not going to call her Nana, was so huge and so amazing in our lives. And I can't imagine how she feels. My mom was so great, like wild. She was not like my grandmother. My grandmother, at no uncertain terms, was very helpful at all to my mother, at all. Um, and my mom was like the first ever in the whole United States that was a single mom. There was none of that. There was no. I'll help you get you back on your feet again. I will. I'll help you while you go work 2 jobs. I'll any of that. None of that. None of that. So my mom refused to be like that. And my mom was really there for us in so many ways. It's unbelievable. And there's a lot of guilt coming out of it for me because I could have been a better mother myself. You know what I'm saying? Instead of always having that and always relying on that to protect myself and my daughter. My mom had no protection at all. My mom went to work at her shift started at 1 o'clock in the morning, so she left the house at about 12:30 at night. She worked 1 to 9. At 9 a.m., she either came home really quick and changed clothes, or she just went to the other job, which was 9 to 5. So from the age of 6 until I don't know, until I graduated high school, until we got the fuck out of there, I, uh, I made my own dinner, my lunches, and my breakfasts. I got myself off to school. Um, I saw my mother briefly after work. She would have to go to bed really quickly because she had another 18-hour, 16-hour day ahead of her. My grandmother did not help. My grandmother did not say, I'll make sure Tara gets off to school. One way or another. My mom was on her own, paying the bills all by herself and getting it done the best she could. And I did the rest. When I became a mother, my mom wasn't having that. So my mom was with me most of the time. I would say 90% of the time. So during my daughter's life, I would say there was maybe 3 or 4 years up until I moved to Maine again that my mom didn't live with us. Maybe 3 or 4. Maybe. That might be a lot. Okay? It's a long time. So she is a huge part of life for my daughter and for me. And my daughter got sad. And that sucks. And I want to take that away. I don't want her to be sad. And I can't help it but be like, is she mad at me? I hope not. Like, I don't know. Scary. And then me at 54 years old thinks to myself, and this is probably me being, of course, the only child and the single only child, spoiled rotten, even though I wasn't. It's like, why are you, please don't waste a lot of your time being sad and feeling guilty for something that's done. Focus on what's living. And so I didn't get to see my daughter today. So so I hate that. First thing I hate is that she was sad and that it made her like have an episode of sadness and that she couldn't reach out to me about it and then felt guilty today because she felt like shit. And then, yet, here we are living 16 miles away from each other, and we didn't see each other today. So that didn't mean that she wasn't going to come. So I just wasn't sure. I figured I'd just let her recover from her hangover, and I decided to take a nap because I was getting tired, probably because I was like, who knows? And got up and did my thing, and I'm making the soup. Still determining whether or not I'm going to make it like a casserole. Um, and that's what I wanted to talk about. What do you do? What do you say? And how do you talk to somebody about that? Or could she understand that? And there's this something I could have done different. Now, I can't go to the past. I can't change anything. I can only do what I can now. So, what can I now? So, I guess I'm going to have to pray on it. You know, God will tell me what to do. If you've got some sort of advice, you tell me too. That might be how it's delivered. You know, you just don't know. But I really pray that she doesn't. I don't want her wasting any living time on things she can't control. I don't, and I don't know how to express it without her getting upset or pissed off. I feel like she's short tempered, you know. So I'm not going to air out my daughter's situation, but I wish she would talk to me about this, and maybe I will find a way to talk to her about it first. So there we go. I'm going to let you go now. It's 32 minutes and 53 seconds so far. And I love you long time. I'm going to go check on the soup, do some stretches. And I still have a lot of time left in the day. I want to get some stuff done. And tomorrow, come hell or high water, I'm going to go build that furniture. And that's all there is to it. And maybe I'll ask the neighbor to put the AC unit that comes with the apartment in. This way, at least that's done, because I don't want to melt. So we'll see. It's a lot to ask, but I can't lift it. I can't put it in the window. I physically can't do that. So I love you long time, and I will see you tomorrow. You have a beautiful day.